usually
Yeah, okay, Greg, we're recording right now.
Is
Cool.
it recording?
Yeah, it says recording.
Then we
Look
are.
at you.
These are two inept camera operators.
Yes, today is October 20th, 2011, and we're sitting with Greg Shepard, and Greg is one of our wonderful hospice patients, and he would like to share some of his thoughts about his journey, and with the hope that perhaps some of what he's learned, the wisdom and the insights that he's gained, can help other people. So we're going to ask Greg a few questions.
Greg,
and
can you tell us what has happened with you? What is the illness that you have? And
Well, in the spring of 2010, I came down with a rather painful headache, and it turned out that it was what's called a GBM brain tumor. So I had to have that out and removed immediately, and then came back in September of 2010, had a second surgery. They gave me this wonderful memorial scar right here.
yeah,
And you know, here we are all these months later, and that was in April of 2010 when it started. And I'll tell you, I found my way to Hopewell House recently because I had a seizure, which is part of the MO of this cancer, and I just couldn't have. I mean, this is what I mean to say. I couldn't have enjoyed the time anymore. I mean, I just met great people like these two gentlemen right here, and I just couldn't speak more highly of Hopewell House, and how the staff was just wonderful. And is there anything you guys like to ask?
yeah, Greg, how has the brain tumor and living with it, how has it changed your life?
Oh, it's changed everything. But definitely for me, it brought me to a level of closeness with family and friends, and with God, that I never could have achieved in any other way. Mm-hmm. And you may think I'm absolutely crazy by saying this, but it's been an absolute blessing. Mm-hmm. Blessing. Mm-hmm. You just never know what life's going to bring you.
What do you find living with this is what are the most helpful kinds of things people can do for you?
For me?
Yeah. What's been the most helpful for you?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question.
Is it?
Sure. In terms of, like,
life, living with the cancer.
I would say it's great to just see folks. It's just great to see people, and to be, you know, I've gotten so much closer to so many members of my family and friends from the past, and I would say just to see and talk with people.
Mm-hmm. How about with people that are in the medical field? What kinds of things do they do or not do that you find helpful?
Oh, well, this is in no way reflecting on Hopewell House at all. But doctors love to throw time limits on there, and I find those aren't real helpful.
no.
Yeah. Because although, you know what, they do sure give me impotence to prove them wrong. So that works quite well, actually.
So it becomes kind of a challenge then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Proving doctors wrong has become a hobby of mine.
Greg,
I would give that. Oh, sorry.
no, please go ahead.
I would give that advice to every single cancer patient. Take whatever he says as a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see about it. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Ultimately, I believe God's in control, and it's up to Him anyway. So.
And that's what I wanted to ask you, Greg, just in passing. You in the hospital last week, we spent a little time talking about your spiritual journey, and could you talk about how your spiritual life has been impacted by this disease that you're living with?
Oh, I'd love to. For me, I guess I have to talk about how it began. I grew up in northeast Portland, and there was a little church on the corner, and I came from a family that there was no kind of spiritual aspect to, and one time I went up to this church on a Sunday morning, put on a little suit I had, and heard the story of the gospel, and it's been the roadmap of my life ever since. And I'll tell you, just the blessings. I mean, all I really want to do is smile and talk about the blessings. I mean, my life's never been richer, more full, more I just don't know how else I could put it than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very grateful.
Mm-hmm. What gives you the greatest sense of gratitude?
Oh, wow. Well, I'd say the biggest sense of gratitude comes that I'm not worried about what happens next. I'd say that is probably the greatest thing. And I can be confident in that. And that really helps. But you know what? I just love to spend time with people. And gosh, I could go on and on and on. I just love to spend time with people now. And I used to not be so good at loving others, and cancer's really good at teaching you that how important it is to love others.
If you're having a day where you feel a little down, how do you deal with that?
Well, last night I was up at about, I don't know, 11 o'clock or something, and this show came on, and it was about this children's hospital. I think it's in Orange, California, for St. Jude's.
Mm-hmm.
And I just watched these kids and their families. You know, I mean, I've lived a full life. These kids are just starting out. You know, and pretty hard to feel sorry for yourself when you see things like that. You know, and I would say that's probably how I do it.
By looking at the things that have been good for you in life.
So, let's say, for example, that so a friend of yours called you up and said, you know, I just got put on hospice. What should I do? How should I think about this? What advice would you give?
Well, I mean, hospice, you know, at first when I started, I was like, oh, you know, gee, is that giving in, you know? But actually it's not. It's a level of care that is really, it's necessary. And, you know, cancer is cancer. We have to be realistic about what we're dealing with here. And the advice I would give them is to consider your options, of course, think it through, and then the care is necessary. And of course, it would depend on the type of cancer, but I couldn't, if I hadn't have this, if I didn't have this care, I mean, I can't even imagine. You know, life of that. I mean, it's really been great. I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah. You seem so happy. Do you feel that happiness deep inside you, or?
I am happy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I remark most about you ever since the day we met, was that he always had that smile on his face. And at first I thought you'd had a stroke, you know, and you were stuck.
He's always a very upbeat guy.
Well, but you know, seriously, and to you know, and it's I think that's perhaps what wins people to you, is that.
Greg, one thing before we were going to do this film, you said that it's really important to you to help people.
Right.
What are the things that what does that mean to you?
Well, when I was in Hopewell still, you know, I met a lot of volunteers, and I was pretty struck. Well, that's where I met you guys. I mean, initially. Actually, I met you a little after that initially.
Yeah.
That's where I met Larry first.
Right.
And I was really struck by that. And it really drew me. And, you know, there's an old saying, to whom much is given, you know, much is required, given to, and much has been given to me. And I just loved what the volunteers did at Hopewell House, and I couldn't wait to be one.
What did you find the most helpful, or what kinds of things brought you the greatest joy? Or
getting pushed to the fountain.
what was good about that?
Well, because I wouldn't have been able to get there by myself.
Okay. So just a change of pace.
Oh, the fountain was wonderful.
Being outside.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you know, my night charge nurse was right across from me, and we talked about so many things, and she was great. And just the staff, they were all so wonderful. I mean, every morning the breakfast was just, it was just great. I guess it sounds kind of corny, but it's true.
So I have a question for you about your relationship with your family, and particularly your mom. How has that been for you since you became ill? She seems to be very attentive to you and everything, but I'm looking at that from the outside. What's your take on how she's doing, and how does that affect how you respond to her?
Well, you know, I wasn't always real close to my mom. I mean, I moved away when I was 17 years old after high school, and started a career in California, and was never back here, and we were never close. And this has healed, you know, the void that had been built up over that time. This has healed it. It has healed so many. It has also healed the same kind of thing with my sister. You know, you never know. You never realize it at the time how things are working out, and then sometime in the future you look back, and you can see how God's hands move, and it's just amazing. And that's one of the things that has happened here. It's healed so many things. It's just amazing. Cancer is, the way I look at it, it's just a season. And this is just a season of life. You know, it's And for me, ultimately, it's been a tremendous blessing. Yes, I said blessing. Every day. And that's the way to look at it. Because, keep your eyes wide open and just watch the blessings flow. That you just will never expect. Old friends come out that you haven't seen. Oh, it's just amazing.
I have a question for you. One of the things that goes on is having to give up things that have been important to you, like your career. And how do you deal with that, or how do you know that it's reached a point where you're not able to do it in the same way?
Well, for me, that reaching a point I knew I couldn't do it is when I couldn't drive it anymore.
Okay.
So the driving was, and that was a very hard thing, the most difficult thing to give up. Because that's forced retirement.
Right.
Yeah.
What else?
Are there other things that have been something that you've had to give up, and how did that affect you?
Oh, sure. There are things that I in no way feel finished as a just as a man. That is one of the most difficult transformations to make, is to realize that cancer has retired me. And but you know what? As long as I'm breathing, I'm not officially retired yet.
Right. Okay, then a question to that, as you're talking to other people that have been diagnosed with cancer, how would you suggest to them that they would deal with losses?
Lost what?
Losses. How would you suggest that, like where you've had to give things up? Or
Well, the first thing with cancer for me was to just let it sink in what we're dealing with here, what it means.
Yeah.
okay.
And that takes time. And, most cancers progress in some way. So there are physical things, and, there are... what was the other part of the question?
How you would recommend or share with people ways that you dealt with things that you couldn't change or had to give up from the cancer?
Well, for me, I did pray a lot, and just introspection, you get a lot of time to think, a lot of extra time.
Yes, you do.
Right, you knew the house across the street was off by 2 inches.
Right, right. Could you ask that question one more time?
Absolutely. So in thinking of helping people, which is what you were wanting to do, and thinking of other people that have cancer, what ways would you suggest to them to deal with things they have to give up or losses that come about from the cancer?
Well, the first thing I would suggest to anyone is to find, I'll use an alcoholic, an AA term, to find a higher power, a God that has power. Find one that can do something for them,
Okay.
that they can depend on.
Okay.
I think that's the most important thing.
Okay.
And because this is not something you can do on your own.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
And then look for joy in each day, because there's so much.
Okay.
I am happy. I just am.
Uh-huh.
Have you always been a happy person?
Well, probably, yeah, I have. But, I sure have had my times where there's just, you know, there's just so many things to be happy about.
Well, Greg, is there anything more that you would want to add to this? You really, I think, are going to help a lot of people with their being able to listen to what you have to say. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with people?
Yes, absolutely. Do everything you can do to prove your doctor wrong each and every day, and it will satisfy you like nothing else. It's the best advice I can give you.
Is that because it sets a goal for you?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I didn't say don't follow his advice.
Right.
I said don't follow his predictions.
Okay.
Oh, Greg, thank you so much for this.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
You're welcome.
I think this is at 21 minutes, so I think we'll stop now, and we may come back for more.
Okay.
Okay.